Hey everyone, Dr. Jeff Horowitz here with Dentists in the Know at the Chicago Midwinter Dental Meeting. Yes.
Jeff, I'm waiting. Is that where I am?
That's
Jeff Horowitz?
Exactly. Oh my God. But this is more special for me than it is. And we have Tim Bisca visiting us.
Okay, sorry. We need to concentrate. We need to ignore him. Okay.
Ignore Tim Bisca. Anyway, I am really the lucky one right now because one of my heroes in dentistry is sitting with me right now, Dr. Brian Novy. Early on in my career when I started lecturing and got to hear Dr. Novy speak, I just said, I've got to learn how to speak like this. I have to learn how to connect with people the way that you do. So if you're not familiar, he does a lot of great programs on prevention, on cariology, on remineralization, and he is just a wealth of knowledge. So if you ever get the chance, please attend one of his lectures. But I am so happy that you took some time to come and speak with us.
This is so exciting.
I'm glad you pretended to think I was famous.
You are. I mean, you're Dr. Jeff Horowitz? Are you kidding me? And thank you for that introduction. I'm not worthy of that introduction.
You absolutely are.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll take it.
Ran into each other last night at GC, who you speak a lot on their products.
One of my best sponsors of all time.
Absolutely. So tell me, what is fresh right now in what you're teaching? What are some of the big takeaways that you want your attendees to really leave your lectures with these days?
Okay, now that was not planned, and I said, let's just improv and see where this goes.
But you told me to ask anything.
I know, but I love that question. That's a fantastic question. I think in the field of disease management / cariology, everything has changed in the last couple of years, which is just amazing. And where we're sitting, just in the climate of all things remineralization, prevention, disease management, the exciting things, everyone's talking about hydroxyapatite. Then that kind of makes me always say, well, what about, are we talking hydroxyapatite? Are we talking nanohydroxyapatite? And we have to remember that hydroxyapatite is just the latest version of getting in the tooth all the ions it needs to remineralize.
Right.
But there's this new notion in cariology that we can really focus on not just remineralizing the teeth, making them stronger, but how do we encourage the growth of good bacteria? How do we replace the bad bacteria with good bacteria? And now there's this really cool field that's emerging called postbiotics, which is, what if you were to take the biofilm of a healthy patient, kill everything that's in it, and then put that into the mouth of an unhealthy patient, like almost like a fecal transplant.
Yeah, exactly.
Very similar to that. Yeah. And it seems to be working. And so that's where the microbiologists, virologists, and mycologists are going, because cariology, I don't know if you're aware of this, Jeff, but we now call Candida albicans as a cariogenic organism. Yeah. It's no longer Streptococcus putans and Lactobacillus, it's Prevotella and Leptotrichia. So and we now finally, for the first time, we actually do have science which tells us the best predictor for someone to get dental caries. What do you think it is? I mean, the research tells us what?
I mean, somebody who has had caries in the past.
If you've had caries in the past, your risk for caries in the future. Yeah. That's not the best predictor anymore. The best predictor, actually, the science, not the evidence, but the science says, and so we have to, we can debate what's evidence, science, research, but the science says the best predictor of someone developing caries is a lack of eating breakfast.
Interesting.
I know.
So I guess, is that just not producing enough saliva? Is it not eating breakfast, or is it not stimulating saliva?
It's neither of those. It's actually the fact that if you don't eat a nutritious breakfast, which is based on protein, it sets you up for craving throughout the entire day and snacking all day long.
Interesting.
But if you get a solid healthy breakfast with protein, so we're talking eggs and bacon, malto meal, cream of wheat,
you're
oatmeal,
screwing
Cheerios.
all the intermittent fasters out there.
Well, that's I don't know why. Okay. So if you're going to intermittently fast, eat a really protein dense breakfast as your first little meal, I guess. And it's that meal of the day, which is the best predictor for future caries, is the fact that you're not eating a healthy regular breakfast. But the correlation to the amount of caries disease a patient has is linked to the frequency of toothbrushing. So it's a breakfast and frequency of toothbrushing, which it's no longer just if you have the disease or not, which is so cool. And as we continue to get better and better at this stuff.
So I should be brushing more than once a week.
Well, Jeff, that's a really good question. Why are you getting that out of this message? Because I'm not saying that.
Which end of the toothbrush should I use?
I would use the fuzzy end.
Okay, all right.
And
we'll,
I would
we'll
be
work
using,
on that.
I would use a Curaprox
All
Velvet
right.
toothbrush.
Note to self: more than once a week, and second, fuzzy end of the brush.
Yes, and if it's going to be once a week, make sure it's at night, right before you go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't do it in the morning.
What are some of the great new products that are out there that are really serving as great adjuncts for dentists focused on prevention and disease management?
So, are you familiar with Perio Sciences?
Yes.
Out of Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, so Perio Sciences just acquired some really cool technology. They will have what I'm going to call the gold standard dry mouth mouthwash, and that's coming back this year. So, if you've been to my lectures before, people know I talk about Moisten. Perio Sciences is now going to start distributing Moisten. That's really exciting. In the meantime, there's a company called Salevia. We all know Biotine. If you're not aware, Biotine is now impotent. There's nothing in there that does anything.
Yeah.
But the guy who originally invented Biotine came out of retirement, added 2 new enzymes to Biotine, and now we have a new version, not Biotine. It's called Salevia, Salivea, by Laclead, and they sell a 5-enzyme dry mouth mouthwash, and they have toothpaste and dry mouth gel. So for dry mouth patients, that's kind of the go-to. People are using more probiotics these days. So I know there's BioGaia. I myself am in my office, we use BioGaia, but I have long time research experience with ProBioR Pro as a probiotic. But I think it's really getting to this concept of, we've always known what to not feed the bacteria, and now we're talking about, what do you feed the bacteria? And we want to feed them arginine as a protein. And the day is coming when we will have more and more arginine toothpaste in this country. And so toothpaste manufacturers will tell you, no, you have arginine in toothpaste. That's where the effectiveness comes from. I would say get more arginine in your diet.
I've literally learned more in the last 5 minutes than I have in the whole last 2 years I've been here, just in this conversation. And
That's awesome.
It's really pretty amazing. And it's a field. It's like when I used to be talking about TMJ when nobody cared. There was just nothing sexy about it. And I would say prevention and cariology are very much the same way. So, to be able to do that and make it interesting, and there's so much good information out there right now. I mean, we are missing the boat if we are not helping our patients prevent disease, not wait there to fix it.
Yeah.
So on another note, fluoride. What are your thoughts? I mean, you knew I was going to.
What are my thoughts on fluoride?
No. What are your thoughts on fluoride? But obviously, there is some concern that that fluoridation, it may be at risk now. So I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this, because I do think there needs to be a conversation about other levels of fluoride that are coming into the diet, maybe too much fluoride. But I want to hear it from the pro.
Well, I should plug a webinar I just gave on fluoride. I gave a webinar called "The Anion Takes Its Final Bow," and I wanted to come up with another one, which is, did the anion give an encore?
By the way, he did the first lecture of his that I saw was called "The Caries Monologues," which, at the time, very apropos, but it was great. And I mean, you're always just so clever about your titles and your courses.
The title gets them in, right?
For sure.
So, okay, so
wait,
fluoride.
They're not coming for me?
Well, for you, at your lectures, they're going for you. For me, no one wants to hear me talk about cariology, so they're coming for the course title.
Gotcha.
All right, well, let's back up and just realize we got here because in after 1910, you had dentists realizing, whoa, there are areas of this country where the teeth look weird and they don't get cavities. And then people went looking for, well, why does that happen? And everything we knew from the cholera epidemics and public health, we knew things could come up in the water. And so people started looking at water. And so we found out, look, you put fluoride in the water, these people don't get tooth decay, but their teeth are not the most aesthetic. And then we identified, well, what's the optimum concentration to reap the benefits of that in water without causing these mottled teeth. And that's how we got to where we are, and then realized, well, let's find other sources of fluoride. Let's just put it in water. Let's put it in toothpaste. Because before that, we were using ammoniated toothpaste to neutralize the biofilm acid. I mean, that's what every dentist in the 50s knew. We need to neutralize biofilm acid. So put ammonia in the mouth and put these things that neutralize acid. Then we kind of went on this road of, well, let's just make the teeth stronger. We'll make the teeth stronger when you're growing up, and we'll make the teeth stronger with topical remineralization agents like fluoride and toothpaste. And it got us to where we are. But I mean, you go back to realizing that when all this stuff came about, we didn't have high fructose corn syrup. We didn't have the type of bacteria causing the disease that we have today. And there's a lot of information in the literature, not in the dental literature, but the microbiology literature, talking about fluoride resistance in bacteria. And so if you talk to a microbiologist, they'll say, my gosh, if you have a dry mouth patient who you're struggling to control caries in that patient's mouth, try removing fluoride for 72 hours. Take them off fluoride for 50 generations of bacterial generation. Right. So that's realizing strep mutans, every generation is about 1 hour. So 50 generations would be like 48 hours, so 2 days. Go an extra day longer. But you didn't focus on antibacterial treatments. And it doesn't need to be something like caustic, like Listerine, some of the really lower dose bleach products that can kill off all the bacteria, raise the pH, and
like
nurture
a Closis or something.
Closis, I'm thinking like the carie-free products.
Carie-free, right.
I mean, Listerine is easy and it's cheap to get. Even glyoxide mouthwash. I mean, the concentrate that at every drugstore, it's covered in dust because no one buys this stuff.
Right.
I mean, that's like $8 a bottle, and you've got a whole year's worth of anti-caries mouthwash there in a concentrate. But I think where we're going is, look, I hate fluoride. I mean, I hate fluoride. It's bad for business, and so, but I'm not anti-fluoride. And
I don't know, in South Carolina, I don't know that it's had an impact. I'm kidding.
No, look, the reality is most people don't reap the benefits of water fluoridation because they don't drink tap water.
Right.
And the bigger conversation is, what is the public's perception of the safety of the water they're drinking? Forget fluoride. What's the public perception of the water safety? Yeah. So we've got people need to get over that issue. But when it comes to fluoride, we're finally getting to a place where dentists are going to be expected to say, does this patient benefit from 44,000 part per million fluoride varnish applied to teeth? Does this patient benefit from 23,500 part per million fluoride varnish? Does this patient benefit from 10,000 part per million fluoride? Yeah. Does this patient benefit from 5,000 parts per million fluoride, or 1,100 parts per million fluoride, or 450, or 250, or 1.5, or 0.7? What is the ideal fluoride concentration to protect this patient? And it's really going to take us down a road of, I think, individualized, truly not patient-centered care, but person-centered care, where they don't need to be a patient sitting in the chair to get this information. We as dentists are thinking, I understand what's all the factors that are going into my population, and I'm now able to dose proper levels of what we know is the best preventive agent.
I love it. I mean, in periodontal treatment, getting to that patient-centric diagnosis and therapy as opposed to canned 4 quadrants of scaling and root planning, come back every 3 months. It's really nice to see that going in this direction. And I think there's always this knee-jerk response when things happen, they talk about taking fluoride out, blah, blah, blah. But the point of all this is how do we get to a place where we can just discuss this, where we have forums, we can say, what is the proper amount of fluoride for a specific patient? What are the right treatment protocols for them? What is the best delivery system for a patient? So I'm really glad you're talking about all that stuff.
Well, I appreciate that comment, because I think I was in a symposium yesterday on how do we deal with this fluoridation issue. And it was the Central CAMBRA Coalition meeting where we were talking about this. And there's a psychologist actually referring to the way we're interacting with patients. And I really need to create a new course for the 2 words that we need to remove from dental practices these days are don't and should. And realize that when we preface any comment with don't, they're not listening. No one's listening to that comment. And when you start telling when you tell a patient what to do.
Did my wife tell you that word?
No, she didn't. No, but maybe we should, because I haven't listened to this podcast. She knows me, right?
Yes.
She says that word a lot. Well, maybe she should realize.
Okay. There's a whole couple of weeks of therapy about that. No, we won't.
If you just think about that moment when you have a patient who's terrified in the chair, right? If you just think about that moment for a second, picture that moment, you're chair side, you get ready to work, you can tell the patient is terrified. Our go-to phrase, or the go-to phrase from our assistant is what? Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. And it feels so natural to say that. And what we need to realize is when we say that, we are conflicting with the patient's reality, and it's not registering, and all they're saying is, do you not understand the fear that's in me right now? And you're telling me not to worry, but I'm not saying I don't. All I'm hearing is worry, scared. So, if we could really take a look at how we talk in practice, I think we'd be very surprised that it's our language and it's the language of other people in our office that's really having the impact on our success.
Yeah, I think those lessons could transcend on a lot of professions, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
So
it's cool.
all right. Well, we are almost out of time. Where will you be in the upcoming future? Where can people come to a Brian Novy lecture?
Well, I don't publish my schedule online because I don't. I'm worried about what's going to happen to me if everybody knows where I am. But I'm
That actually
speaking.
makes sense. Yeah.
Well, bad things happen to dentists who turn into caryologists. And look at I mean, truly, some horrible things have happened to caryologists through the years.
No.
I mean, weird plane crashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could go down that. We're
No, we're going to save that.
Okay, save that for another podcast.
Save that for another podcast. For sure.
So Hinman, I'm lecturing at Hinman, doing a bunch of lectures at Hinman.
I might see you over there then.
Well, I'll look for you.
Yeah. Do another one. That's when we'll do that's where we'll do the next episode.
Okay. Well, I look forward to that. Yeah. So Hinman is my next big watch.
Awesome. Well, Brian Novy, thanks for coming by. You're still one of my heroes, and wish you all the best. Dentists in the Know, Chicago Midwinter Dental Meeting 2025, and Dr. Brian Novy. Have a great day, everyone.